Hari Om. Today's subject is yoga for hypertension. Hypertension is a very common disease. Many people are suffering from that. And in certain cases, the people don't think that it is a disease. They think it is a routine problem and one has to take the medicine. And the people continue to take the medicine throughout the life. With the medicine, this hypertension cannot be cured. Controlled, yes, control is there, but not cure. Control in a sense, blood pressure can be controlled and it can become to the normal level with medicine. Definitely, there are very good medicines are available. They bring the blood pressure to normal within a very short period. But there is no cure because when the medicine is stopped, blood pressure is again shooted up. So it continues. So there is no cure. So control is essential, but it cannot give the cure. That is the story of medicine. Because hypertension, the word is very proper, is connected with the mind because it is tension. And high blood pressure is a physical state. So high blood pressure is a symptom, we can say. And the cause is hypertension. And the medicine cannot work on tension or mind. Medicine works on the body level. So medicine can bring your blood pressure normal, but not the tension normal. Tension continues to be there, so the disease is always there. But yoga is very good for that because yoga is meant for mind. You know the definition of yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga manaha prashaman upaya. That means yoga is there to control the functions of mind. So yoga has got a very good solution for controlling the tension. And that automatically reflects in controlling the blood pressure. This is how we can treat the hypertension patients with yoga very powerfully. So let us consider. I want to make 4 grades of these hypertension patients, which will be helpful for us during the treatment. Grade 1 is hypertension is controlled with medicine and there is no other physical problem. When a person takes medicine properly as advised by the physician, his blood pressure remains normal continuously. This is the first grade. And here he doesn't have any other complication, no other disease, pure hypertension. Very easy to control and very easy to teach also. Grade 2 is little bit complications. That means blood pressure is controlled, as I already explained earlier. But there are some minor physical problems. Maybe indigestion, maybe little headache, something like that. It's a very minor problem, we can say. There's no major problem. So we have to pay a little bit attention to that minor problem and teach yoga. But grade 3 is little bit difficult task. In grade 3, there is hypertension with diabetes, asthma, thyroid, menstrual disorder, heart, like that. That means some major disease is there, which needs more attention than diabetes, than blood pressure. So we have to pay more attention to that particular disease and little bit attention to hypertension like that. And grade 4 is definitely very, very difficult to treat because it has a major diseases like heart disease, sleep disease, arthritis, which obstruct the person to do so many practices of yoga. So grade 4 is the highest or severe case of diabetes. And grade 1 is very minor, very simple case of diabetes like this there. You are a beginner in yoga therapy. So you can treat grade 1, grade 2, but not grade 3 and grade 4, because which needs a lot of experience of teaching patients, and so many other things are required. Some additional treatments are also required. And mostly what I mean to say that we have to pay the attention to that disease itself. And let the hypertension be controlled by medicine. Because that disease is first priority. And hypertension is the next priority. So let us see how to treat at least grade 1 and grade. When you are teaching grade 1, I am going to give you the yoga program. Straight away we can start teaching and no other special care has to be taken. For grade 2, you can teach the same program because hypertension is perfectly controlled with medicine. So let the medicine be continued, of course. That is a standard common practice that medicine is to be continued. Don't discontinue medicine in the beginning. But we have to pay some attention for the physical problems, because grade 2 is some physical problems, minor physical problems are there. You have to pay attention to that problem, that this problem is there, whether it is increasing or decreasing. Be more careful, and considering that problem you have to just modify the hypertension program for you according to that disease. So little care you have to take more for the grade 2 patients. And grade 3 and 4 is very difficult to treat at your level at the beginning. Once you get quite good experience and all that, experience of not only hypertension patient but all other diseases also, then you will be able to teach grade 3 and grade 4. So let us consider the training program for grade 1 and grade 2. We'll teach the preparatory practices as usual, and cause is same because the person is new. He has not practiced yoga at all. So his muscles are stiff, the joints are stiff. So to make his body flexible and also make its mind also ready to practice all these techniques, develop the confidence about yoga and all this. Because of that, we'll continue the preparatory practices. Then of course the selected useful asanas which are directly connected with the curing of the disease. They are very important. Most of the time they are to be practiced and taught. Then cleansing practices, pranayama, meditation, these are very useful things for tension. Now we have to focus more on tension, because yoga is not treating blood pressure. Of course, yoga nidra and shavasana can reduce the blood pressure also, but we are more focusing on the tension, how to reduce the tension. And for that we have to control the functions of mind. When mind becomes calm and quiet, there won't be any tension, because person has to live in normal condition. He has to function, he has to work. His work may be just creating more tension, but if he is capable of handling the tension properly, handling the situation properly, then the blood pressure will not increase. That is what we are going to teach through the yogic practices. Of course, the contraindications and recommendations I will be explaining here. Now, for preparatory practices, let us start with Shavasana. And Shavasana is much better for this patient, because during Shavasana, blood pressure will automatically come down. You will be able to start controlling the mind little bit and experiencing the immediate result. So definitely we start with Shavasana, and of course minimum 3 minutes, then that will have some effect. And the patient also will feel something better with the Shavasana, because his blood pressure will come down to some extent during Shavasana itself. Then we have to start the basic movements from the Yoga Sopan book: hand movement, leg movement, knee movement, shoulder movement, and all those. These movements are not giving any strain. They should not. But the movements are there of different organs. So the joints will become flexible, the muscles will become flexible, That means tension in the muscles and joints also will be reduced. Blood pressure will improve. So many good advantages are there. And the patient will start feeling better and better and better. I don't say he will be cured with all these things, but definitely these things will helpful for giving the better and better results. So he'll feel better and better. And of course, you have to include Shavasana wherever is. Now these some asanas. Asanas are good for this. Some of them, of course, some are contraindication. But these are to be practiced on level 3. Yes, remember level 3. Where the attaining asana position with very, very slow movement. No fast movement, no jerk, very, very slow movement. Then relax the muscles of the body as much as possible. And maintain this position, relaxed condition, for some time, as long as it is comfortable. So the patient will decide the time. You should not decide the timing. You can advise them that try to maintain this relaxed condition as long as possible, but as long as it is comfortable. If the patient start getting strain or pain, he should stop the asana, release the asana. So this advice is to be given by you, and the timing is to be fixed by the patient. Of course, with the regular practice, the patient will slowly increase the timing. So on this level, all the asanas are very simple, very common asanas. Shavasana, very important asana for this patient. Then Tadagasana, Vajrasana series from Yoga Sopan book, Pawan Muktasana, Ardha Chakrasana, Anantasana, all these asanas are there. You have already learnt all these asanas. Bhujangasana, Chalabhasana, Dhanurasana also. Then Ardha Matsyendrasana, Tadagasana, Tiryak Tadasana, sorry. Kati Chakrasana, Trikonasana, Virasana, all simple asanas. From the list, you have understood that these are very, very simple asanas. And these are to practice on level 3. That means relaxation is also very important. That is as called by Patanjali, Prayatna Shaithilya. So this Prayatna Shaithilya is very important in this case. Then from cleansing practices and pranayamas, we can say Udyan Bandha, 3 rounds with each round for 30 seconds. Now this is a target. First day you have to teach, you may continue teaching for second, third day also. When a patient is able to perform it, then you can ask him to do more and more rounds and all that. So step by step you have to teach. But 3 rounds with each round for 30 seconds is a target. Beginning the patient may practice it maybe for a few seconds, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, doesn't matter. But slowly you have to improve. And that's all. Jalaniti also can be taught. To some extent it can help to reduce the tension also. Then pranayama is very important. Of course, every practice is important, but pranayama will give you very good results with very short period. Anulom Vilom deep breathing, 15 minutes is again target. The proportion that will depend on the condition of the patient. Ideal proportion is 6 to 12. You can start with 4 to 4. So step by step, in all these points you must remember always. So Anulom Vilom is a balancing pranayama. Because we are using left and right, both the nostrils for inhalation and exhalation. So it balances and develops the equilibrium between the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system, which is essential for hypertension patient. So Anulom Vilom is the best pranayama I can say, without Kumbhak of course, for the hypertension patient. Then Ujjayi without Kumbhak. This Ujjayi pranayama definitely reduces the blood pressure. It helps to reduce the blood pressure. 10 minutes again a target. You can start from very few minutes and go to 10 minutes maximum. Then Shitali Purak followed by Bhramari Rechak with both the nostrils. This is also a very good combination for hypertension patient. 2 pranayamas are combined here. Shitali inhalation and while exhaling Bhramari Rechak. we have carried out some research also on this, and we found that this is very good pranayam for hypertension. So as I told you, all pranayama is very important. You have to pay more attention. Asanas are there, no doubt, but we have to pay more attention to the pranayam. Asanas, they can practice little bit less or more, it won't matter much. But pranayam is very important for hypertension patients. Then meditation also is very important because this is also directly connected with the mind. Meditation is calming down the mind. And that is what is required because mind is overstimulated, carrying the tension. So if the mind is calmed down, the tension also will come down. And a person will be able to practice without tension. He can face the situations, same situation which was there previously, but he can face it without tension. That is why meditation also is an important practice. In meditation, Om chanting is the very simplest fact. You have to teach properly how to chant Om. That is important. No hurry. Because as I told you, Om to be chanted in 10 seconds. So 5-second inhalation, 10-second exhalation during chanting of Om. So it is having the effect of deep breathing also. So this system is to be followed. Because many systems are there to chant Om. They are not bad. But now I prefer this system because I found that this is more useful than other systems of chanting Om. It is 6 to 2 and U and Ma like that. O for 2 seconds, U for 3 seconds, Ma for 5 seconds. So this chanting also a good technique, and anybody can learn with very short period. Very simple to learn and simple to practice. Then listening Om also has got a good effect on blood pressure because it is all coming down the mind. But one can listen the recorded Om chanting throughout the night. You can record in the mobile and just give the repeat command, so it will continue to chant throughout the night. So during sleep also one can listen and it will have the effect because the ears are open. So definitely listening of Om chanting also have a good effect. That will have good effect on sleep also and blood pressure also. Then Yoga Nidra, very, very useful. Because practicing Yoga Nidra for half an hour immediately reduces the blood pressure. That we already found out by research also. So Yoga Nidra has got the immediate result on blood pressure, just like the tablet. The tablet is to be taken twice a day, so Yoga Nidra also can be practiced twice a day. In chakra meditation, meditation on Ajna chakra, and with the mantra is Om. Mantra of Ajna chakra is Om only. Maybe for 30 minutes once a day and all that. The details are already explained to you. Ajna chakra is situated at the eyebrow center, deep inside, of course. So all these techniques are very, very effective for hypertension. So you have to pay more and more attention for pranayama and meditation technique. And of course, asanas also to some extent. But these two things are very important for hypertension. Now, contraindications, they are definitely there. You have to be more careful for this. Particularly the inverted asanas, head down and leg up position asanas, are contraindicated for that because they put more load on the heart and they increase the blood pressure. For a common person, these asanas are good. They help in circulation of blood pressure for a common person with no hypertension. But for hypertension patients, these asanas are definitely giving more load on the heart and increasing the blood pressure. Sarvangasana, Halasana, Shirshasana, its variations and all that. Even Uttana Padasana also to some extent. Then fast breathing, right nostril breathing and Bhastrika Pranayam also are increasing the blood pressure. Some of the common persons also can experience this result of increased blood pressure. But for a common person, the blood pressure can come down to normal with very short period after these practices. But hypertension, the blood pressure will remain high also. it will increase the blood pressure, it will remain higher. So definitely these are not to be taught. Please note. Then pranayam with kumbhak also to be avoided. Because during kumbhak, we inhale fully and tie up the 3 bandhas. So that increases the pressure inside the lungs. And that is overloading the heart function. And that is definitely increasing the blood pressure. So these contraindications are very, very important. And cleansing practices, Vaman Davti, Shankha Prakshalan, Laghu or Purna, these are also very troublesome. Sometimes the person may be suffering with acidity and hypertension. So hypertension you can teach, but for acidity, you may suggest Vaman Davti. But please do not suggest Vaman Davti. Because in Vaman Davti, use the saline water. Salt is there. And when the salt intake is there, blood pressure is going to increase. So don't advise this. In Shankha Prakshalan, we use the salt water. So Vaman Davti, Shankha Prakshalan, because of salt water, we cannot advise. So for this patient, please remember these contraindications carefully and follow 100%. We have to give the food recommendations. These are common. Only thing, avoiding the salt is very important for hypertension patient. Because salt intake directly increases the blood pressure. So that we have to take the care. And other recommendations are just to keep the weight normal. Because many times weight of this hypertension patient is also high. And it should not increase. So accordingly, we have to give the food recommendation. As usual, normal food with less fat and carbohydrate, but with high fiber. So it keeps the digestion system perfectly in order. Then fruits, vegetables. Then protein, excess protein also can increase the blood pressure. Normal protein is required, but excess protein can increase the blood pressure. So you have to avoid the excess intake of protein. Then avoid the salt in any form. That is also very important. Avoid the non-veg because it contains salt and all spicy things, oil and all that. So we don't recommend non-veg food for these patients. Milk and milk product just for reducing controlling the weight. Oily, spicy, refined, all these things are keeping the digestion proper. When the digestion proper is maintained properly, it will help to reduce the blood pressure, and even it will help to reduce the tension of the mind also. Because food is connected with the mental activities also. So if the good food is there, the mental activities are very controlled. If the spicy and hot and food is there, then it will stimulate the function of mind also. So what I explained to you is for grade 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 I already told you that you should not handle the patients of grade 3 and 4 at this stage. Because other diseases are very important and those are given to be main importance in treating than hypertension. Let hypertension be controlled with the medicine. And one more important thing, persons with hypertension coming to you, definitely they may be taking some medicine, whatever it is. So don't stop the medicine at all, because with the medicine they maintain their blood pressure and they are a little bit comfortable. If you stop medicine and even if you start yoga, you will take some time to have some results. So during that time, medicine blood pressure will shoot up and patient will suffer, and he will definitely get disturbed with all these things. He may not continue yoga practice. So whatever medicine he is taking, let him continue. And one more point, that you are not allowed to adjust the medicine. Don't reduce the medicine. You are legally also you are not allowed. But after practice of some days, some yoga nidra, om chanting, asanas, pranayamas, maybe 5-6 days also the blood pressure will start coming down. And medicine has to be reduced. But as you cannot reduce the medicine, you have to refer the patient to his physician. So you have to ask the patient, your blood pressure is now coming down. Please go to your physician, get it checked up and get the medicine adjusted. And I'm sure that when the physician will observe that blood pressure is coming down, he will reduce the medicine step by step. And a day will come that he will say, now you don't need any medicine. And he may stop the medicine. This is happening for many cases which we are treating in our ashram. So be careful. Don't stop the medicine. But sometimes what happens, the patient himself or herself stops taking medicine. So you have to inquire in the beginning only. That are you taking medicine? Then continue. Don't stop. So advise them not to stop medicine. After some time, after some days, advise them to check and reduce the medicine. And after some time, you can tell them, yes, no medicine is required. So this is how we can cure the hypertension with the help of yoga. And definitely we can get good results to start with for grade 1 and 2. And grade 3 and 4 is little bit different. I have not given proper explanation for that right now. Please don't treat grade 3 and 4. Hari Om.